Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with FX Market Insight for Monday, the 16th of December. All right, as we cruise towards the holiday break, the dollar index pretty much, it's still sort of cruising to the downside, but it has stabilized after the big move, the up move on sterling. And that took euro with it, obviously pushing the basket down. And that's where we are with the dollar. The US-China trade deal, there was a lot of positive movement there on the yuan. Now, that sort of jumped back up, almost 10 cents to 7.02. So I don't know what to really make of all these US trade deals. It's a little bit hard to read. And just switching you over to the news here, just have a look what everyone's sort of focusing on and reading at the moment. Dollar down after US-China trade deal, pound jumps on win. Well, the dollar's not down too far, right? And that's been pushed down mainly, in my eyes, by the pound jumping so much. Sterling, as it is, jumped up to 135. It's back down to 133 and a half at the moment. I think all the positive sentiment is built into this. So to me, the only real move is going to come is a drift to the downside. I think that's where we are. And the impeachment situation with the Donald, well, that's continuing as well. So we have to sort of wait to see how that plays out. Now, if I just bring you back to give you a look at the overall analysis, let me just switch you over to the currencies first. We'll give you a look here. The major pairs, I've left some of these trend lines in here from Friday so you can see what was going on. Aussie cruising to the top side, as did sterling and euro on the big move here on the conservative win in the UK. I was saying this on Friday as well. Like euro the move is so artificial, right? This is a bit of dollar weakness. It doesn't really have any positive sort of fundamental sentiment. And the Aussie and Kiwi, well, they're sort of drifting sideways a bit. So that upward move has stalled somewhat. Dollar yen, the sort of unwinding of the last part of the safe haven trade, that US-China potential concerns about global growth, that sort of stalled as well up there. And it's now drifting sideways in the mid 109s. And dollar CAD, well, not a hell of a lot of movement here at the moment. It's we're seeing these massive moves up and down, and then it stalls and trades sideways. Oil is at $59 or almost $60. That's going to put downward pressure on dollar CAD. But overall, if you have a look at where the raw nerve here was, okay, it was sterling. Now this is done. Now what we're going to do is redo your analysis and work out what's going on. The good thing for me, or the good thing about this in my eyes, is when you come down here, scroll down the MyFX Trading Hub page, we've got these geopolitical announcements, right? So when you're looking at those, this puppy here is just about out of play, okay? They're just going to get the deal done, and then it's going to come down to fundamentals. If you're looking at what the China-US trade situation is, if they're close to a deal, that will be out of play as well. Now we're starting to get back into the core fundamentals, these numbers over here, right? And that's going to make it easier for us, especially with just one geopolitical event remaining, and that's the Trump impeachment. So things are looking better already. I know when you look at the overall analysis here, you've got, the dollar index. Yep, it is moving lower across all time frames at the moment, but it is mainly because of sterling. Okay, that big move up on the positive euphoria following the massive win by the Conservatives. Looks like Brexit gets through by January 31st, and we're back in business. The rest of the pairs, well, they're not so convincing, especially the dollar pairs, dollar CAD, dollar Swiss, and even dollar yen. Okay, so you can see where we've got direction, but it's not exactly what I would consider gorgeous, because we don't have the fundamental drivers behind it. This is geopolitical stuff. Okay, it's unwinding, it's positive, but still just be aware they aren't over yet. So what we've got is normal range-bound markets, normal liquidity for a Monday. Looking at the potential opportunities, Aussie and Kiwi will be in play Monday with the industrial production numbers. You get some German flash manufacturing numbers there as well. So keep an eye on that, as well as the Eurozone numbers. These flash numbers out of the UK, I think it's a little bit early for sterling to start reacting to the fundamentals, but keep an eye on that, especially the Bank of England bank stress test results. I can't see much variance there in those numbers, and it's probably too early following the election. But I tell you what, these UK numbers will come back into play pretty shortly. So look at Monday, there's a few things to look at just to give us a bit more bearing on where momentum's going to come from. And that sets us up for a a pretty solid week as far as data goes coming into the Christmas holiday period. You've got the UK employment numbers. Once again, this could start to impact again, and then you come back down through on the 18th here. You got UK CPI, Canadian CPI, Kiwi GDP, all sort of pretty big numbers, and then you've got the Thursday as well, the Aussie employment numbers. Well, we've got the Bank of England. I think that's probably a little bit early for them. They need to get Brexit done before they start making some critical decisions about policy. But and then we've got some final GDP numbers down the bottom here out of the UK and the US, and finishing up with Canadian retail sales figures. So all up, there's a little bit of data coming around this week. The Aussie employment data, big number for the Aussie. And have a look through there. We've got the minutes there for the RBA as well. But a little bits and pieces. Now, what we're trying to do with those numbers is match up the general momentum from these releases to the current technical framework on these pairs here. Now, if you can get a bit of a match, it makes an easier trade. All right, so that's what you need to be looking for. All right, guys, pretty quiet start to the week so far, though. There's no major movements, which is good to see. As I said, there's a bit of news out there about US-China trade deals, Trump impeachment. The good thing is we're not going to read so much more about the crazy political situation in the UK. That's been completely cleared up with this massive Conservative Party win, the biggest since the 80s, since Thatcher, I think. So that's all good for us. So good times ahead. Just take your time, get into the rhythm, let momentum come back into the market, and then nail the opportunities from there. All right, guys, have a good one. Cheerio.